Yo, 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 what is up, my fallopian tubers? Cesario from the barrio coming back at you with another video for your butt. So today, I'm just going to show some Corey Seager autographs. He's been killing it in the playoffs. He always does. Used to love watching him bat. Back in the days, I used to love talking to my friend JMVP. He was on YouTube. And when I talked to him, we didn't necessarily talk baseball cards. We talked baseball. And he also loved Corey Seager. I used to love Corey Seager because I used to love watching him bat. You know, it would just bring back memories with me. Like, you know, when I was in, you know, Little League and then high school, you know, most people didn't have crazy stuff. So, you know, hitting was pretty easy. And it wasn't until like way later when I was in independent league where people were throwing crazy curveballs and sliders. It was like, whoa, you know, and it was a tough battle to bat, you know, and I used to love watching Corey Seager battle. He used to battle. So me and JMVP would talk baseball, and, you know, people who, you know, Baez at the time, Chris Bryant, Arenado and stuff, we used to talk baseball. But anyways, that's why I love Corey Seager since the very beginning. I used to love to watch his at-bats. I'm a baseball fan first, and I love watching these epic battles at-bats. You know, and then I was just thinking about, like, on my drive home, you know, this is Corey Seager and his brother, Kyle Seager. I love this card. One of the main reasons I love this card is, you know how when baseball, MLB has their jersey nights, whatever, like, where people could do their own jersey nicknames or whatever. Kyle had a jersey that said Corey's brother. But yeah, so I mean, I have a lot of Corey Seager autographs, and I was just thinking about so, you know, I was just thinking about, I'm gonna show a couple of Corey Seager autographs that I have, and then I was thinking about when I first bought some Corey Seager autographs, you know, and it's I don't know if you would find an interesting story, but you know how some people have stories about cards. A lot of times people talk, you know, cards themselves have stories, a picture, like where it took place and stuff like that. But with this Corey Seager, my first batch that I bought, it has a kind of a story in itself. The Seager cards that I bought. Basically, I bought them from some dude on Instagram. This was like 6-7 years ago. And I bought 5 of them because he gave them to me really cheap. And they were the first Corey autographs that I had bought. I love Corey Seager. I love watching him bat. He was my favorite Dodger at the time. But I didn't really necessarily like PC him, as people would say nowadays. I would buy his cards, but he wasn't like in my top 5. You know, players that I collected, I guess, if you want to see it that way, you know. But, you know, he saw that I was always buying Corey Seager cards. Hey, you have any Corey Seager autographs? I said, nah, I don't have that much money. I don't, you know. And then he gave me a great deal on 5 Corey Seager cards, right? So I sent him the money, and this is back in the days when I would send money, cash, in envelopes and PWEs. And I sent him the money, and he sent me a tracking number. And I remember, like, what the hell is this? He's like, tracking number, go to the post office website or whatever, and you could track it. And so I knew when it was going to arrive. You know, I was like, to me, that was like, wow, this is nuts. Like, I didn't know about tracking and stuff, you know. But anyways, when I was at work, and the tracking said it was going to be at home, I called my daughter at home, and I told her, hey, I'm going to get these 5 cards. And this was like my failed choreographed Corey Seager, you know, and I think that's why I don't do choreographed videos. I just kind of like to shoot them off the cuff now. That was one of the first ones that I kind of had a plan, like, hey, I want to do this. You know, and so I called my daughter. I told her, hey, I'm supposed to get 5 autographs, you know, so I'm going to do a video. Would you help me out? She was like, well, what do you want me to do? And I said, I'm going to get 5 fluorescent, you know, those long beam light bulbs, fluorescent bulbs like you'll see in WWF, WWE, and people break them over each other. So I'm going to get 5 of those, and I'm going to have 5 autographs. So every time I show the card, I want you to hit me over the head with one of those bulbs and break my head, break the light bulb over my head. That was like my thought for the video. You know what I mean? But it didn't happen because of unforeseen circumstances. Now you might say, like, well, unforeseen circumstances, what happened? Well, basically, when I got home, I used to live in a lot that had 3 houses. There was a house in the front, I lived in the house in the middle, and there was a house in the back. And there was a long driveway, you know, that went through all 3 houses. And so when I pulled up to my house in my front driveway, there was a cop, you know, with his gun out, and another cop in the driveway on my neighbor's house with his gun out. So there was 2 cops right there in front of my house with their guns out. And I was like, hey, like, I live right here, can I go in? And he was like, well, if you go in, you can't come back out. He's like, you have to stay in your house. You know, I had to show my ID and my address and everything, actually, you know, to get in. So I was like, yeah, I guess, yeah, you know. So I drove into my house, which was in the middle. And when I pulled up to my house, I could see in front of my front door, there was like a cop with an AK-47, or I don't know what kind of assault rifle he had. And behind my house, between my house and the last house, there was another cop with an AK-47. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And so the guy, like, you know, that cop in the front radioed to the cop in the middle, and he told them, hey, this guy's coming, he lives here. And I walked into my house, and then he's, you know, signaling me to come in, and I said, hey, can I go to the mail? He's like, you know, and we whispered, and I was like, hey, I need to go to my mailbox, because, you know, I was expecting these Corey Seager cards, and my daughter's inside the house waiting so we can make this video. And he was like, no, go inside. When this is over, you can go get them. So I had to wait. So basically, I was inside my house, and I had to wait. So what happened is, there was like a gang fight, and then somebody came back and started shooting, you know, during the fight. And the guy ran through my house, like through my yard, and into the neighbor's yard next door. Not on my lot, but like next. And he was in there. So the cops were like, you know, surrounding that house. And they were in my yard, in my house. So I had to wait. So I couldn't go to my mailbox to get the cards. And my daughter was like, hey, I got to go to class, like, you know, in an hour. And, you know, I was like, oh, okay, well, see what happens. Hopefully they'll be done by then. Well, time passed, and I had bought a 12-pack of Pacifico beer. And normally, if you guys wonder like how much beer I normally drink on a day, normally I drink like 4 regular-sized beers or 2 tall cans. That's kind of my average, what I drink normally, which is not that much. But that day, because I was waiting, I was on my 9th beer when they finally knocked on my door and said, hey, all right, we're leaving. You can come out your house now, because we were locked in our house. We were basically locked in. We couldn't go outside. We couldn't look outside. But by that time, my daughter was in college. And she had to go to class. Man, but I was already 9 beers in, dude, so I was super drunk. Oh, you know, I'll look for that video. I think I reposted it before. But you can look at that video, man. I was super, super, super drunk and high. Super drunk and high. And my daughter had to leave, so my plan for showing a Corey Seager autograph and her breaking a light bulb over my head every time I showed a Corey Seager card didn't happen. But as soon as they left, went to my mailbox and I got the cards and I made the video. And I ended up showing all my Corey Seager cards. And as a matter of fact, that's kind of what started my whole Corey Seager thing, because I was kind of newer on YouTube back then. This is at my old house. You can check out my old card room where my my binders were in a rack that I made out of some wood from a torn out kitchen, some trash racks that I got like this, and cylinder blocks. Like I had actually cylinder block bricks, you know, for shelving. But you can check that out. But man, I was super drunk. And then like some other people on Facebook on my Dodger group that I was in, like I had told them, oh man, I was gonna make this video and I was gonna be like Corey Seager, and she was gonna break a light bulb over my head, and I was gonna show another card, Corey Seager. She was gonna break a light bulb over my head, and some guy was like, so then they started calling me Corey Seager, Corey Seager, Corey Seager, and that's how my Corey Seager, Corey Seager, Corey Seager thing started. But yeah, that's my Corey Seager mail day story. But anyways, just love the hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards forever, I say. Ciao. So yeah, man, obviously I also have some like Corey Seager, you know, patch and relic cards and whatever you want to call these. Sick Jackie Robinson right there, man. And this one is so shiny. Oh, you can't see it. And I always trip out on this one. This looks nothing like his autograph, but hey, it's slabbed. So shiny. Alright, love the hobby. Keep collecting baseball cards forever, I said. Ciao. I need to get something to eat.